Happy Halloween, everyone out there, and happy anniversary to Kaylee and I. 1 year of marriage, and we're still going.
We're still going.
I'm ready for two.
Me
I'm
too.
ready for two.
We'll see it.
It's getting iffy, but I'm still.
It's getting iffy. No.
So, what better film to do our Halloween video with than a highly anticipated anthology found footage extravaganza from the director of the Fear Footage Trilogy, a film series that I have pushed on this channel a decent amount. I think it's one of the more overlooked found footage films, mostly two for me, but I always do like to bring them up. And so Ricky, the director of this, we got in contact a while back now, and he was like, you know, when I get my next film done and everything, I'm sending you a copy. You know, after all the good things you said about my movies and everything over this time. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he was a man of his word, sent it out. We got it yesterday in this ominous packaging. Now, it was inside another one, and I ripped that open thinking it was just this Blu-ray, and I tore the packaging a little bit, and I'm bummed at myself because I would have liked to have had like a better looking thing. But this, I don't know, this kind of looks like...
It still looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, right? So it says Project Eerie there. I posted a picture about it, and people were like, what does that say? They had a few different guesses. And to add to the realism of this, we've got documents.
Yes.
From Project Eerie in here. This one, and this one. And yes, they end up in the film. So
they do.
That added to the fun of it. So I thought that was really cool. I think Ricky definitely, having talked to the guy and having now been in a found footage group on Facebook with him, he is definitely a person who like stays in character all the time.
Yeah. For
his movies.
Yeah.
He always ends everything ominously and like teasing his next films, like no matter what you're talking about. And I don't know. At first I was like, this guy's a weirdo. And then like I get it. It's the shtick. It's you know, he wants to make a name for himself, and or he's a weirdo. I don't know. Whatever it is. He's into it, and I'm into it with him. So Project Eerie, right here. Now the disc inside is blank. We got a little van here, picture of a van. That's also part of the movie. You'll have to watch it to find out why. All right, so there you go. Thank you to Ricky. Let's talk about the film now. As you guys know, I will give my 100% honest opinion. I don't care if he sent me $100 in the mail with it. You ain't getting anything but my true opinion of the film. So, having been a fan of the Fear Footage movies, especially the second one, I was definitely hopeful for this. And this does play out like an anthology. I was not expecting that because it very much clearly states that these are the events of Jesse and Jacob Warner and this live stream that they did. Now, I will say this. I do think that was probably like a good idea in theory, right? When he was coming up with the concept for this, although he's always in character, so maybe to him, this is real. But for those of us who know that it's fake, he came up with this idea of this like kind of wraparound of these guys live streaming the footage they find. So it's found footage within found footage.
Yeah.
Little meta fourth wall break there to a degree. So that it's a fine idea, but the problem is that we're not viewing their live stream. Right. They're doing a live stream, and then it cuts to this footage, and then it's just like this footage, and that's all it is, right? It's not like them filming the television. So this is not their footage. This is not their live stream. Their live stream would just be them filming the TV. Yeah. So that took me out of it a little bit in the moment, you know, when it happened. But putting that aside, it's a minor gripe. It's just one of those things because the realism is everything with found footage.
Yes.
Right. I was like, okay. And so the first segment starts, and Ricky himself plays this main character who is the guy in fair footage that I was like, oh my God. I apologize to Ricky for this, but I thought his acting in the fear footage movies was terrible. And I was like, I really dogged that out. And now I didn't realize at the time that was the director. And now I'm like, oh shit. But I will say his acting in this is much better.
It is.
For what he's doing here, you know, because he has like a kid with him and he's more of like a lovable dad. And he plays that very well.
Yes.
So as far as the segments go, I liked them. Overall, I think this is a fun VHS style anthology found footage film. And honestly, if I had to compare it, I definitely prefer this over VHS 85. Now that might be something that people are like on my ass over.
Whoa.
But I didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
Right? And I liked this one. So I found this to be the preferable of the two. And I am a fan. I you know, the acting is improved over his other films for sure. Nothing, you know, nobody's winning any awards or anything for it. It's pretty low budget fare, but it's not like, oh my God, like some of the other ones where I was like, Jesus, like I have to really look past this. But I thought that like each one of them individually had something going for them. And I really, I was a fan of every one of them individually. The wraparound, not so much.
Yeah. I would not say that I liked it more than VHS 85. Because I did like 85.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is a pretty cool anthology. And like you said, we weren't expecting it to be one. So it was a pleasant surprise because we love anthologies and we love found footage. So it's always cool when they combine forces. The wraparound is the weakest part of this for me because I was pretty confused at how things were supposed to be connecting. So I think that there's a little, I don't know. And I was definitely paying attention. I was watching the film. I just think that there's maybe it gets a little bit lost in translation in some way. But I do think that the individual segments were pretty cool. I thought that there was some pretty decent like effects, practical effects and masks and things that were effective and used for effective like scares. In the first segment, there's a guy that like is really freaky.
Yeah.
We were both pretty disturbed by how he looked, and I don't know what's going on with that, like a combination of like prosthetics or something, but it because of the quality of the footage too, like that's always like the benefit I think of doing low budget with found footage is because you can use like you can add grain to the footage, you can add distortion, you can make it not like crisp, you know, like Blu-ray quality, and kind of get away with low budget effects that maybe wouldn't look as good if you could see them clearly. And I don't mean that the effects are like bad looking. I'm just saying that I think it adds to it to have that like low quality film.
Little fun piece of trivia here. So Ricky wrote me when I was getting this in the mail because this had released a couple days before I had received it. He sent it out and it was supposed to be here earlier than it was, and it was supposed to be here when it released. And unfortunately didn't get here until after. And I had asked him like, hey, you know, I want to get this film up and reviewed because I want people to get on it by Halloween. I was like, maybe I'll just rent the version on Amazon, you know, and when the movie gets here, I'll have a copy. And he was like, well, I prefer you watch the Blu-ray that I sent you. And I was like, why? And he was like, because it's the better version. And I was like, oh, footage is different? He's like, no. He's like, Amazon wouldn't allow me to upload like a more distorted looking video. I had to put on the crisp version.
Oh, that's
and in my Blu-ray, I purposely made it look like an old VHS. But in the other one, he had to take that like filter off and release it as like a very like crisp image.
Yeah,
Amazon wouldn't allow it.
That sucks because I wouldn't have liked it. I do like the filter or, you know, how it's edited. I think that it looks pretty authentic, and I've always been a fan of like just the way I mean as nice as it is to see like new movies and like see them really crisp and clean, like there's something very satisfying about watching like VHS quality sometimes.
Yeah,
it just feels grittier, and especially with found footage, it's like it needs to be like gritty. I want it to feel dirty.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's interesting that Amazon would make him. They're like, no, it has to be cleaner. It needs to be better to see.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know who makes those decisions. I don't even know how that happens, but that's what happened. So yeah. Would you guys like to see, I'm going to do it probably anyways, whether you guys want to see it or not, but would you like to see Ricky on here in an interview about his projects and what he might have coming up next? Because this dude, you know, these are the kinds of films that I just really respect. And even in addition to, like, you know, the fact that I didn't really love VHS 85 all that much, you had Scott Derrickson, you had David Bruckner, you had, like, you know, Bloody Disgusting and all these people like behind that project. And I was very blah on it. Like I really just didn't care for it. And, you know, from what I've gathered, just like Fear Footage 2 alone, which is, you know, still my favorite of his. This would be my second favorite. He made that one for like $500.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like him and some buddies, and they're making these, and they're outdoing movies for me that have 10,000 times the budget and name recognition, directors and writers and stuff, and production companies and whatever behind them. So to me, that's just what makes it even more impressive and even more like special.
Sure.
Because it's just like a regular dude who's out there, and it's kind of like the Cinderella story, like the, you know, the underdog.
Yeah. And
I'm a fan of that, right?
For
I think we all are. I mean, America is all about the underdog story.
Yeah, definitely.
So I am a fan. There's of course things here and there I wasn't big on. It's not perfect for me. It's always opinion based and whatnot, but overall, yeah, I was into it. Didn't love it, but I dug it, and I don't think I could make any better, right? With what I got right now, and he's making it happen. So
it's cool. It's really cool.
But yeah, so there you go. The Project Eerie is out now. You can rent it on Amazon. Unfortunately, it's going to be a different version as far as just the look of it. So if you were wondering what we were talking about, now you know. Yeah. As far as the plot synopsis goes, we didn't even really give one. These kids go and find these tapes. Well, I should say a CD that looks kind of like this, except for it has like a little bit of spray paint on it. This has the spray paint on it. This is about this. They find it in an envelope just like this.
Yes.
It looks almost identical to this, but he didn't go all the way and make it look like that, unfortunately. This image did not appear in the movie, to my memory. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it, but I was like, wait, where's that? Isn't this your little thing that you bought where you squeeze it? That's what it kind of looks like.
It does kind of look like it.
But yeah, they find the footage and they live stream it. I kind of said that at the beginning.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, we deal with 3 different stories. One of them involves a guy taking his little kid out to a camping area, and they go somewhere they aren't supposed to. And there's repercussions for that. The second one has to deal with these like redneck guys who think they spot someone who's wanted by the law. And the third one is about an Amish guy who hires these 2 basically charlatans to come in and exorcise the demons. But maybe that's not really what's happening. But yeah, really cool. I mean, I'm digging it. There was something in the like in between each segment that had to do with like security cam footage that we were like, what is this?
Yeah, that's kind of part of what I was talking about, where I'm like, I don't really understand what that is. It just sort of was confusing.
I didn't have any issue with the wraparound. Like it made perfect sense to me. The wraparound made perfect sense to me. I didn't have any issue with that. The footage in between each segment, I was kind of confused on until it ended, and then I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's what they were going with. I don't know why the other ones have to be there.
Yeah,
it doesn't really. I don't get the point of it. But other than that, yeah, Good job, Ricky.
Yeah, nice work.
I think his last name's pronounced Umberger, but please tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Okay, guys. So once again, Project Eerie on Amazon to rent now, or you can buy it straight from his website. I will list it in the description box below. Thank you to Ricky for sending this stuff to me. I hope I don't get killed because it says that my freedom and my life might be in danger for having watched this footage. We'll see. We'll see if we end up missing or dead, guys.
You know.
It was because of this, and that's why Ricky takes it so seriously.
It's real.
It's real. All right. Well, we are going to go off and have our anniversary at Halloween 1978 in theaters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I will. I'm sure we'll vlog that and see you there. Bye, guys.